Welcome back, you beautiful people, to the Real Collective podcast. I am Sean Tasse, joined by my illustrious co-host and friend, Kyle Miller. Kyle, happy day to you. What is going on?
Uh, you know, the usual, living the dream. Here we go. Yeah,
That's
life is good. This is a very nice March we're having in February.
right.
April almost in February. It's a little weird. Scares me on 1 degree and I love it on the other. But hey, that's all right.
Pun intended. 1 degree makes all the difference. 1 degree of
Boom.
separation. As always, guys, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, share this with someone who you think might like this type of conversation. Stick around to hear a little bit about Magic Mind. If you haven't heard about it yet, it's because you have not been watching our podcast, but we'll get into a little bit conversation about them later on. If you'd like to book an appointment with Kyle or myself, you can do so in the Calendly links below. You can also download the buyer guide or the seller guide in the links below if you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Thank you very much for your ears. We didn't even talk about what we're going to talk about today in advance, so we'll freestyle through this and we'll see how it goes. We've got this weekend. We've got our community winter thing going, like community winter event going on, and all the families get together and skate at the rink or whatever it is. Not this winter. It is likely going to be raining. Uh, so happy Saturday, mid-February, and it's raining. Should be snowing, but it's not.
Did they
It's
not just can did they not just can the Ice Dragon Boat Festival too?
probably. I mean, you know what?
I think I saw an article that said that
Did how long did we get the canal for, or did we? I think I read at one point it was set, but I don't know if it's happened.
47 minutes.
Right.
Yeah. it I don't think you're going to measure it in hours. I think it's minutes. I don't. Yeah, we didn't get it for very long. This could be the year. Have we? Is this the first year we wouldn't get it?
We didn't have it
Or
last year either.
oh, that's true. That's
Yeah.
true. Oh,
Now
that's
this is
tough.
it. This is an El Nino year, which is why everybody keeps saying, "Oh, well, it's so hot because it's an El Nino year." I don't even know what that means. Does that mean it's going to be hot in the summer too? I don't know, man. I'm not a meteorologist. I can tell you all about houses, but I will say this is the second year in a row that canal's not able to open. You know, I don't know. Does this, how many years in a row does it have to be before you're like, oh, wait a sec, maybe the world's getting a little bit too hot too fast? I like having four different seasons. But it seems like recently we go from like winter to summer in a minute. We go from like summer to winter pretty quick too. Like it's hot until it's not. You know, like
I feel it's more like we go from summer to a very long spring. Like it's a very long spring. It gets cold, but not very long. Like, yeah, it's tough. I don't know. I hate the hate to see the just the ski hills. Like they just got to be getting smoked,
yeah.
smoked, right? Like it's hard. It's hard, but then it's still right. It's still see it in different places. Like the northern Quebec stuff. Trombon's been doing okay by the looks of it. I don't
Right.
know. It's beyond me. I just know I try to recycle.
There you go. Yeah, man, it's not good. But I'll tell you what it is good for, segue, our real estate market. It really is, as the snow starts melting, if there's not big piles of snow, people aren't stuck at home. And you know what? Hey, things are heating up. We've mentioned this the last probably, since the beginning of the year. It feels like things are different. There were two different properties that I saw this week that both had multiple offers, in that sort of 650 sort of price point, bigger houses. One was a bungalow in Crystal Beach, listed for 650, sold for 705, 10 offers, 10 or 12 offers. Another one was a two, right? Another one was no, needed a bunch of work, right? But whatever. Another one was a two-story, four-bedroom house, also needed a lot of work. Leslie Park, sort of close to Queensway Carleton Hospital. List price 650, four offers, sell price 670. Both of them needed a bunch of work. So those are houses that, sure, they're a little bit bigger for sure, but if they're fixed up, I think they're close to $1 million, 950 million bucks, and people are willing to do the work. And obviously, a lot of investors, especially people who are looking at hey, what's the sell price now and what's it going to be in the future? They're saying, hey, this is the time. Like, let's get into something here.
Well, yeah, and sorry, go ahead, keep
What
going.
about you?
Well, and there's the programs out there for that stuff too. Like there's especially looking at what's on the market now, the price points in the market, people have settled into what their budget's going to be, right? And the lenders have the programs for even specifically first time buyers, or I shouldn't say that, people buying with less than 20% down to actually get those renovations included right up front. So that, again, if you're sitting there saying, you know, oh, well, I guess it just goes back to what we said all the time, that there are going to be deals right now, and the people, and again, if you're willing to compromise on something, whether it be price or interest rate or the fact that you're not getting the perfect house right now, but you can do a little bit of work and a little bit of grind to bring that value up and to force that appreciation to get it the way you want to be, there's going to be a deal out for you there. That's probably going to, and there's going to be a way to finance that and get it done. So the people that want to do the work and are willing to compromise a little bit on something, I think if you believe in real estate, you're going to win long term.
The strategy is called flip to yourself, right? So
Nice.
you buy the house, it's going to be a flip, but the end user is you. So that's what we did with our house, right? We bought the place, we gutted it all the way back down to the studs. We built up exactly what we wanted. We got the house in the neighborhood that we wanted, and then we made the house what we wanted. Because when we looked at it, I was like, no, this is not it, right? But the neighborhood was, right. And you sit in the front room and you look down the street and you see the park right in front of you. So it's like, I don't know, 300 meters to the park, and you can see the kids at the park playing. It's like, yep, this is it, right? This is the right spot. We just needed to make the house our own. Now I know that they have purchase plus improvement, and that's up to 40 grand. But what we needed was a construction mortgage, right? And that was a little bit tougher to put together. So is that what you're talking about in terms of incentives and stuff?
Well, yeah, both actually, and that purchase plus programs come a long way. The insurers have definitely understood that 40 grand is not enough. So we definitely have lenders with agreements with the insurers, because it's an insured product in 99% of the cases anyway. Insurance being default insurance. So people listening and don't know what that means, it's not like, oh, we have to go out and get insurance. It's like CMHC, Genworth, or sorry, Sagen now, Canada Guarantee, like those guys do it.
I.e.,
And
less than 20% down.
yeah, less than 20% down, which you're getting anyway. So if they approve it, like it's even better. But I mean, we've got deals that'll do over 100,000 for
Wow.
renovations like that. Yeah. Now again, there's nuance here. So
Sure.
it's not like you can get 100,000 because you want gold plated knobs or a pool. Like that's not it. But and again, you have to be careful because the deeper you go, the more to the bones you go. You've been through this, right? Permits and engineering reports and things like that come up, and the bank's going to want them. But I mean, man, imagine what you could do with 100 grand on your house to get it to where you want from where it is.
Yeah.
It can be, and like, and you're getting that as part of your mortgage. That's like $500, $600 a month.
My you're a gold plated knob. My brother my brother-in-law. As soon as you said
I haven't been called that in a while.
it. My brother-in-law did that. He bought his place and he put 100 grand into the cosmetics of it, right? So the floors, the lighting, revamp on the kitchen, new cabinets, finishing the basement, all stuff that's going to add value to the property. For someone else to come along and look at, painting, yeah, so a lot of work went into making his place look exactly like he wanted it to. And if you look at it now versus what it looked like when he bought it, you know total change, like night and day. Chill vibe in there. He did like some stuff around the fireplace and shiplap. Like it's a really a good setup. It has his vibe to it versus the house that they bought had like a you know the casing and the baseboard was wood. It was not painted white. You know what I mean? Like it was a weird sort of vibe in that regard. So it was very much a totally different sort of vibe versus what he's got now, and it's absolutely right up his alley. So it's Yeah, that purchase plus move is to be able to have 100 grand. That's significant.
Yeah, and it's I mean the thing is too is again, I think it's the compromise and it's the mentality, right?
Yeah, yeah,
You can't I say can't. It's going to be more likely to find that price point on that older home that needs the love than it is to just get it perfect at that same price point.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
right? And there's no right or wrong. If you're not the person that wants to handle that project, don't. Like that's fine. Just understand, right? You're going to be limited in
Yeah.
a different way. You're compromised. There it is. You're
That's money.
compromising
Yeah,
again.
you'll
That's
pay
all it
more.
is.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
look, you buy the house for let's say 700, and you put 100 into it. That house goes back on the market. It's not 800, it's 850, right? Just because it looks pretty, and you're gonna have more people who are into it. That's all, right?
And yeah, and again, so people aren't misunderstanding, and there's more conversation to be had about this. But that purchase plus, right? In that, if you use that same example, you have to qualify for that 800,000.
Yeah, yeah,
So you still have to be approved for 800,000. You buy for 7, but we're adding 100. So overall, could you go out and buy a house for 800? In theory, yes. But if you can't find the house you want at that 800, because what you want is 850 or 9 or 950 or whatever that exponential growth is. This is how you get that, right?
yeah.
That's your compromise. And that's how it goes. So
I've got a great contractor who will do that work. So just throwing that one out there. The guy who did my house, we're very very happy with him. Referred him to a few other clients as well, and they were also ecstatic about his skills. So if that is in your wheelhouse, if it is something you want to do, then by all means reach out. Yeah, man, it's certainly been an interesting week. I'll tell you a scenario about a deal that I've been working on since the beginning of the week. We submitted an offer for a condo that's been on the market for about a month, give or take. It's listed at 325. We offered,
that's a good price.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Hey, 2 bedroom condo in the middle of the city. Condo fees are high, like over 6 on baseline. So we offered, uh, what do we offer? The place has been on the market for, you tell me what you think we offered. Place has been on the market for a month. 325 is the list price. What do you think we offer to start?
So it's been on the market for 30 days.
Yeah.
So I got to think you went at least 5 to 10% below, 5 to 10% below. So I'm thinking around 300 to start, and then we're
Oh,
coming somewhere in between.
bang on. And in the hopes of landing somewhere between 310 and 350. You can do this job, Kyle.
315.
Right? So,
Woohoo!
so what happens? What happens in this scenario? The listing agent reaches back. He's like, hey, you know what? We've got other people interested. You've got people who are doing a showing. We've got some other people who are waiting for their pre-approval. Why don't you give us your best offer? You know what? These guys are really hoping to sell it for what it's listed for. So I told my guys, here's what's up. Give your best offer. Like, look, we've got our pre-approval. We know how much we're able to get. We know that we want to do this. We know what the condo fees are. We know all of the costs, everything. Our best offer is, we were thinking we were going to hope to land somewhere between 310 and 315. So our best offer is 315. Here you go. Here's 315. We're not in competition. There's no one else who's made an offer. Here's our deal. Seller says, no, thank you.
No, thank you.
Yeah. I want 325. So I said, well, we're not going to give you 325. A day later, they come back. Oh, you know what? We'll do it for 320.
320.
Right? Hey, you give us 315 worth, 320. Hey, here's a deal, take it. And we were like, no, we told you our best number was 315. And I told the agent from the very beginning, look, I already asked. I asked for 320, I asked for 318, 317, 316. The answer is every single one, no, 315 or bust. Okay, well, we've got some other people who are interested. Da, 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 they're getting their pre-approval. Da, 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 da. Okay, cool. My guys are like, look, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. 315 is our
Yeah.
number. That's what we're willing to do. We were very clear from the very beginning. Whatever. A day later, another phone call from the listing agent. Hey, can you bring me 317.5? First comment I make, I didn't even call my clients. No. I already told you. No. He's like, can you just please call them and ask them? Yeah, I'll call them and ask them. I'll tell you what the answer is going to be. The answer is no. I'm certain of it. So call them and ask them. What do you think they said?
They're digging in. They're
No,
digging in.
They dug in from the beginning. And so she's like, well, how come your people aren't moving? I'm like, well, we moved from 300 to 315 instantly. When you asked for our best offer, we gave you our best offer. You know, we're clear. And then my people are like, you know what? Obviously, this isn't going to work. Let's go look at some other places. Okay. So I told them, hey, look, we're going to look at other places. We're going to see them on Sunday. By now, it's Wednesday or Thursday. No, it's Wednesday. On Thursday night, he messages me back, hey, you know what? I haven't asked my clients about it, but I think that if you bring me 316, 250, we can get this done. And so my response was, come on, man. Like, so I text my clients. I'm like, so they're saying 316, 250 is gonna work. Yeesh. And so they're like, no. If they're gonna do it for 316, 250, they'll do it for 315. I'm like, yeah, of course they will. Just hold firm. You're okay. They've realized that someone else who wanted to do it isn't doing it, right? So they're like, oh, hey, there's all these other people who are interested.
Yeah.
They go. They gone. So we're now
Or they
holding.
were never there. Or they
Well,
were never there.
maybe they were, maybe they weren't. But my guy said, look, we'll pay three. And here's the crazy thing, okay? These people are friends with the sellers. The buyers are friends with the sellers. And they'd already talked,
Oh,
right? They'd already talked with the sellers before I got involved. And so my conversation with them is stop it. Stop talking to the
yeah, I
sellers.
have to stop talking.
Stop it. Like, don't say another word until we're done. Okay, thanks very much, Sean. You know, and they were a referral from a past client. Hey, thanks very much, Sean. We really appreciate you taking this on and fighting on our behalf and all that kind of stuff. Like, yeah, of course, this is what I do. But they didn't know what they were doing. They're like, hey, how do we put an offer in? Right? Like that was the beginning conversation. We found this place. It's our friends. How do we put an offer in? I'm like, whew, we got to slow this right down. Start from the very beginning.
Yeah.
So it's
Dangerous.
and look, we're not even conditionally sold yet. But he said finally last night, he's like, okay, well, send in your 315 and I'll see if I can get it bought. I'm like, yeah, man, I don't know why I wanted to waste this whole week. He said to me on the phone, the listing agent, he's like, you know what? Sometimes a lot of the times the seller's ego gets in the way of a deal coming together. I said, yeah, sometimes the agent's ego gets in the way of a deal coming together.
Did you actually say that?
Yeah, and my wife heard me and she's like, "Ooh, you're spicy." I'm like, "Oh, well, it's true sometimes." So that's story time, negotiation time with Sean. That's a whole week negotiating. Now, there was risk, right? What if someone else came along and bought this place and said, "Hey, I want to make an offer." Right? There's a potential for a loss there. So, yeah, there you
Well,
go.
lost for who?
For these buyers who said, "Hey, look, 315 is our top." Someone else comes along and, sometimes it's no, we want this place, right?
Oh, yeah, that's a different mentality though, right? If they wanted that place, they wouldn't have settled at 315, bar it being anything like purely financial. My opinion. What do I know?
Yeah.
But it would have been like, oh well, we really want it. So that $1,600, that $2,500, that makes a difference, right? It means more to the seller than it
Yeah.
does to the buyer,
That's right.
right? But when you can detach yourself and let yourself be able to say, I want this place, but I don't need this place, but I want it, but I don't need it.
Yeah.
And you can walk away. At that point, it's like buying a car,
Yeah.
right? I know my financing, I know my numbers. Hey, buddy, I don't need this car,
Yeah.
right? I don't need it.
Yeah.
So you come down and come to where I'm at, or I'm walking away. No harm to you, no harm to me.
Yeah.
Like that's it. Someone needed that more than the other side.
Yeah.
That's it. There's nothing
And
wrong with that.
yeah. And that's what it comes down to. It's
That's the power move. That's the power move is when you don't need it. Well, I negatively speaking, I see that in my business all the time where people, will shop me on rate and stuff. And I say it. I'm like, you need to shop around. I get it. But if I'm going to give you all the time and the value that I believe I do provide, then right, it becomes what am I trying to say? It's like I'm okay if you walk away. Like I
yeah.
want your business. I want every single deal,
Yeah.
but I can't cut my knees off to do it lots of times.
That's right.
So I'm cool. Like it's all right. Like it's kind of like it's the magic of understanding how it works, right? It's
You
just
know,
being like, hey, it's cool.
it's funny you say magic. It reminds me about Magic Mind. This drink that I've been really working on. Been taking that drink, and I'll tell you, I had a week or earlier this week where it was just there's the agent calling me about that deal. So this one day this week, I was with the girls, they were awake on different rotations. So one was awake at 12, the next one was awake at 1, the next one was awake. So it was probably 5 or 6 wake ups at night, and I don't think I actually got any sleep until 4 o'clock in the morning. So like from 4 to 7,
Nice.
I sleep that night. It was brutal, but I popped into work that next day, and you know what? Boom, hit that magic mind, and I was able to make it through the day, even though I was running on pretty much fumes. Now, granted, by the time I got home, crash. I was like, you know what, Lindsay? I need probably 20 minutes just to catch myself again because I am dead. But I was able to make it through the whole day, and that is all in thanks to Magic Mind. Magic Mind, of course, the sponsor of the podcast, full of nootropics, full of mushrooms, full of things that are going to give you energy and sustained energy, keeping you flat all the way through the day. When I say flat, I mean it's keeping that elevated level of energy. You don't need all that coffee to give you the ups and the downs and the ups and the downs, but it made me survive through that day that, it was not a day that I had a lot of rest going into, obviously, but my goodness, it has certainly been a lifesaver for me for these last, we started right at the beginning of the year, right? So for these last, 5, 6 weeks, that Magic Mind has really done a lot for my productivity. I really feel like I'm getting a lot of stuff done. I'm able to activate and I'm able to be on in the market that we're in as things specifically are moving fast as a result of taking these Magic Mind boosters once a day. And it's easy. It's a quick little shoot it back, a quick little elixir. We've got a promo going on right now for them where you can get 20% off using our code REALCollective20. If you guys want to increase your overall productivity and up your mental game so that you can deliver top quality service, whatever you're doing, whether you're flipping burgers at McDonald's like Kyle, or whether or whether or whether you're slinging mansions like me. I'm kidding, Kyle. Then by all means hit up Magic Mind. Use the code RealCollective20. Not only will it help you, but it will also help us in continuing to provide this type of content for you moving forward. So hit that up and tell them where you came from. There's a promo going on right now for the month of February. It's for lovers only. Just kidding. If you're not a lover, maybe Magic Mind will get you someone who you love. So Magic Mind is the website. Real Collective 20 is the promo code to enter. Do it up and open your mind. Magic. So magic of real estate deals, magic of your mind. As always, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, share this with someone who you think might be interested in this type of content. You can also download us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. You can click down below to see all of the information about whatever it is you're looking for. Booking an appointment with Kyle or I, buyer seller guides, all in there as always. And we'll just keep doing what we're doing, man. It's Magic Mind, not Magic Mike, different thing altogether. Has no effect on that.
There's, I'll let that joke go.
probably for the best. Probably for the best.
Probably for the best. Yeah, probably for the best.
So yeah, it's been it's certainly been a busy start to the year. I'm gonna fill out the El Predicto, so keep your eyes peeled for that on the channel, where I'm giving you the prediction of what I expect 2024 to finally be. Some people do that at the end of 2023. I like to do it in February of that year, just to give myself a little, okay, here's what it looks like we're doing. By the end of January, I should have a pretty good idea what's going to happen in the year. I've been doing that back since 2017. So you can look at the back catalog and you can see, oh, here's what Sean predicted for that year. And then I always do a follow-up the following year. So in 2018, I said, hey, here's what I thought was going to happen in 2017. Here's what happened in 2017, and here's what I think is going to happen in 2018. So I'll do the same thing again, record an episode, not like this, but I'll share my findings with you about what I think for 2024 as a sneak preview. I think it's going to be better than 2023 was in terms of average price point. And I think the number of transactions will go up, but only marginally. I don't think it's going to like drastically blow off. Like we did just under 12,000 last year. I think we might wind up with 13.5. Again, I'll
do you know what we? Okay. Do you know what we did? Do you know what you did or what the market did in 2018 in terms of transactions?
Yeah, I do. Not off the top of my head. But
that would be that would be an interesting statistic to me, is to see what did in 2018. Like, I know in our industry, it was wild through 19, 20, and 21. Well, second half of 19, I guess.
Yeah,
And we're consistently trying to look back at 18 to say, okay, like what's a real number to work with?
yeah.
What's in terms of transactions, mortgages, right? I mean, prices are just going to be up, so typical mortgages are just going to be up, so your volume is going to be higher. But from a number of transactions, that's kind of our baseline that we're using to see where we are there. But it'd be
Well,
interesting to see what that number is.
I just did it for January, and I looked at January numbers, and the numbers almost matched 2018 for inventory, for number of sales, January this year to January 2018. Now, I think that's neat, and I think when you layer on top of that the fact that the rates are going to be, you know, go theoretically going down, and we've talked about the impact that that has on buyer sentiment, whether or not it has an impact on buying power or whatever. I think that we saw we saw December being a little bit flat, January being a little bit, well, certainly more than January last year. But yeah, that's what I saw is, hey, these numbers kind of match 2017, 2018. Now they also 2023 matched 2011. So is there going to be a slower ramp up to the
Hmm.
number of transactions where we take sort of jump from 2011 numbers all the way up to 2018 numbers? Because from 2011 to 2018, we had a slow ramp up, right? And that's typical real estate in Ottawa, where you see, slow growth, seasonal trends. It picks up in the spring, it dies down in the summer, it picks up a little bit in the fall, but not as high as it was in the spring, and then it goes dormant in the wintertime. Well, we don't really have a wintertime right now. You can still see
True.
a lot of roofs. You can still see a lot of foundations, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of melt. So if there's a problem with water seepage into the property, you're going to know about it like now, whereas you might not normally find out until the springtime. So there's a lot of things that are sort of promoting a faster start to the market, and I think that'll only be exacerbated by a rate decrease to make buyers think, oh, okay, good, now the rates are going down. I guess we're at the lowest price that we could have been able to get, which is what we've been telling you guys for the last like 3 months. Buy now.
Well, it's interesting too, because it's just so volatile. Like, we've seen the interest rates, specifically on the 5-year fixed, right, come down, the 3 and the 5 come down, and then pop right back up,
Yeah.
and then level and come down again. But now they're on their way back up. People keep saying, like, well, the bank didn't change anything. It's because, as I've said multiple times, it's the lead up. It's the time leading up to the announcements where everything goes nuts, right? The economic numbers coming out of the US and their economy doing way better than they thought it was going to do. I think that just happened last week. Those numbers came out, and all of a sudden our bond market's going back up, which is an indicator that those people, or that the market is saying, we're probably going to have these rates higher for longer, right? So, okay, so when is this cut starting to happen, right? But then you see things like Bell cutting 4,800 jobs yesterday, realizing that, okay, we're not out of this recession. Like, we're not, it's still there, still lingering. I saw another statistic. Someone tweeted it out yesterday. It was a real estate agent who was sitting in on something, and with CMHC, and CMHC had stated that the delinquency rate has gone up, but not nearly to where they're considered it being like worrisome. Like, it's staying level at whatever the percentage was. I'm not going to quote it because I don't remember off the top of my head. And people commenting back like, well, that's good news and things like that. I'm like, that's only one portion. Like, I would love to see the graph that shows people behind on their credit card payments and people behind on their car payments, right? Because that's the other thing. You start getting down that rabbit hole, and how, like, who was it? I think it was, I'm going to say TD. I could be wrong,
Sure.
but I think TD in the States pulled out of car financing
Ooh,
100%. Just like, done. We're not financing cars anymore in the US. We are out, because the writing's on the wall for
wow.
what they're looking at. So, like, and we're in this industry, and I don't want to say anybody bad, but it's just anything bad happen. But like again, there's a slow burn to this. So we're not, I don't think we're really going to see the full effects till we hit Q2, Q3, and then that's the summer. So let's see where the government's head is at that point with everything going on.
Yeah, man. I'm speaking with a lot of different people, and the individuals that I'm speaking with, they're not out of the woods. They're still like, oh, this is tough. This is tight right now. Grocery prices are still what grocery prices are. Gas is still what gas is. Like, and there's a lot of accrued debt over the last whatever, and people are getting tight. So I mean, I think people are going to want to hold on to their houses and try to do everything they can to hold on to their houses as long as they can. But there's some people who are being forced to sell their house as a power of sale. I've seen more power of sales now. Maybe that's just a function of I'm looking for them, but I've seen a lot more power of sales in the last call it 3-4 months than I had seen in the last 3-4 years. Now, hey, what does that compare back to 2018? Well, you know, is it and sometimes you don't see a power of sale, but you see like, hey, I've got to sell my property. The bank isn't power of sale yet, but two more payments and it is, or two more missed payments and it is, right? So I think people are still pretty close to the edge. So I think you're right, man. There's not you can't just look at one metric and make your decision from there. But yeah,
No,
it's
but
it's
I
tough.
mean, it's still positive, but I mean, even culturally, to wrap that part up, as Canadians, it's been said multiple times, we will, we will go without 1,000 things before we don't make a mortgage payment,
Yeah,
right? So culturally, that's a good thing. It's also terrible that that's, one way we define success, I guess. But it is, if you own that asset, I mean, I'm the guy that says try to keep it. I'm going to be helping. I'm assuming I get everything done as I'm supposed to. We're going to help a lady keep her house, and before she has to sell it, and actually save her some money, which is wild to think of this situation. But I've said too, I'm like, where you can't go anywhere and rent for the amount of people in your family. You can't even go rent for less than what you're paying.
right.
So we might as well fight our asses off to try to keep this place. And then at least you own the asset.
That's it.
So
Exactly. All right. Let's wrap it up. As always, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, share this with someone who you think might be interested in this type of conversation. If you haven't picked up your own subscription to Magic Mind, please do so. You can get into an appointment with Kyle or I directly in the calendar links below. Download the buyer or the seller guide in the links below. And until next time, keep it real.
collect it.